Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 45 of the Do Up Extra Today podcast. I am Hannah Gilbert, and I'm here with Hope. Hello, Hope.
What's up, Hannah? Good to be here. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday, dude. It's a good day.
Oh yeah, every day's a good day, but
That's true.
Fridays especially, they feel extra sweet, extra
Yeah,
sweet.
a little sprinkle of some
Oh
sweetness
yeah.
on a Friday. All right. So before we do a little bit of a dive in, I'm going to give like a brief background of just how I know you. Run clubs,
Sure.
because you're also a runner, but aside of that, you're also a very impressive human. So obviously a runner, you're a lawyer legend, which I think is you're a lawyer, but to me it's a lawyer legend. And then one of the reasons why I wanted to chat with you and have you on the podcast is you just completed the speed project, but Atacama, am I saying it right?
Yes, yes.
Chile version.
Atacama. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
First time international. It
That
was
was your
great.
first time overseas?
No, not mine. It was
Oh,
the first time that the race has ever been overseas. Oh, could you
okay.
imagine? Just like really diving into, yeah, I'm crazy, but not that crazy.
I was like, oh shit, you really went for it. I mean, I love it, but damn. Oh God. Okay. So I took some of the basics because the speed project that's from LA to Vegas, similar
Mm-hmm.
bones, but a little bit different given
Yep.
the landscape. So,
Mm-hmm.
and correct me if I'm wrong anytime here. So there's 15 teams of 6 people.
Yes.
Okay. 300 miles with 11,000 feet of elevation,
Mm-hmm.
wide range of temperatures.
Mm-hmm.
You're sleeping on the ground in between.
If you're sleeping.
If you're
I
sleeping,
chose not
right.
to. I chose not to.
Dude,
So
you went that long without sleeping?
48 hours, yeah.
Oh,
Because
shit.
after the race, you're so hyped. Yeah, we'll get into all of that. But
Okay,
yeah,
okay.
48 hours.
And then I I did a little like background, wanted to come prepared for this. So I did a little bit of, research online, read some articles. It says it's like the hottest place on earth. And I was like, okay, you're just getting me to read it. No. It is the hottest place on earth.
Yeah, I don't know if I know it's the driest place on
Oh, the
Earth. Like
driest.
they haven't had rain in a long time, but it was also very hot and it was a UV index of 11, which I didn't know it went above 10. Like my basic Midwestern ass, like didn't even know that that was possible. Somehow I did not get sunburnt. I was lathering on sunscreen pretty
Mm-hmm.
much every time I got out of the vehicle, but yeah, it was some pretty harsh elements. We got down into the like low 40s at night, lots of wind and crazy elevation. So it was,
Yeah.
they threw everything at us that they possibly could. And, we more or less came out unscathed. So,
Yeah. So for those who haven't heard of the Speed Project, can you give a little bit of
mhm.
background on LA to like just the basic versions?
Sure. So LA to Vegas started in I think 2013 was the first year that anyone ran LA to Vegas. And it has just expanded over time. Initially, the route was kind of set, but it's always kind of been no rules other than like no freeways, just because it's very unsafe running on them. So it was
Yeah.
taking back roads, LA to Vegas, however you could get there. Traditionally, you had what was called an OG team, which was 4 males, 2 females on a team. And that since expanded over time. They have now freestyle groups, they have all women's groups. It's just, yeah, I mean,
Hell yeah.
and now the field is huge where I think there's like over 50 teams who are doing LA to Vegas this year. Lots of brand sponsorships, stuff like that. So it's very much kind of a thing on the West Coast to do. That's outside of your traditional, marathon sanctioned races. So the whole thing with um, the Speed Project is from the beginning, they've had this slogan that's like no spectators, and they believe in radical participation, whether you are running or you are crewing. So it's just like it's all hands on deck. Everybody is as valued and as important as, the fastest runner that you have on your team. And so it's just all about unity and spending time together. So Nils, who runs the Speed Project and is the mastermind behind all of this, decided he wanted to do something different this year. And there was a Chilean team who had been coming to the Speed Project in LA that was pushing for something in Chile. And last year, Nils sent a group out and was like, all right, show me what you guys think you should do for a route. And they went and mapped it, and then the wheels just started turning from there. And a year later, we were all out there.
Yeah. That's so crazy. So from the start point to the end, obviously, like similar to a race, you want to get there as soon as possible, right? So the speed aspect. But is there like any sort of rules on like, do you have to go in a certain order, or it's just
Absolutely
get your
not.
ass?
No rules. No rules. Though, yeah, it's basically just like, the rule is like take care of each other and like be smart, but like, yeah, everyone run. I mean, the rule is run, basically. Like, yeah, don't drive in your car.
Yeah.
So, outside of that, it's however you can get there, whatever distances you want to split it up, how you want to like do your rotations on your team, it's totally up to you. If you find shortcuts, like take them. If you want, we did some risky shit where we just like pulled up something and we're like, this looks like we can cut like a mile off, and it's like, all right, who's our best trail runner? And we had just this stud Polo, who was just like this Chilean guy. He's like, I'll do it, just starts taking off running before the words are even out of his mouth. Just such a champ. So I mean, it was just like off the cuff, a lot of stuff. And you can plan for things, but in a race that's that long and over, that much distance with so many different variables, you can't plan everything, and you got to just be ready, on a moment's notice to step up and be like, yeah, I'll hit an extra rep. Like,
Yeah.
what's another kilometer at this
I
point?
know. Oh my God. I didn't realize you could do like shortcuts. I heard there was one team who had a bit of an issue, not an issue, but like ran in like with border. Like it's really like there really are no fucking rules other than don't drive.
A lot of teams got caught at the border, actually. We were lucky. It sounds like we were kind of always in the top like 4 or 5 teams throughout the race. So we were a bit more spread out than all of the teams that were behind us. So that was drawing more attention to them. So because we were spread out, we didn't get caught up in as much stuff. And we also we were kind of sometimes the first people that they would see. So they didn't really know how to react, and they would just kind of like let us through places. We got held up at the border just like having to do the paperwork and stuff, but and them just wanting to like look at our equipment, I guess. But after that, we were smooth sailing, but other teams were like not allowed through. So I think that's a point when some of the teams ended up dropping out because they were kind of given a choice where you can drive through and wait. And I guess there was like a meeting for all of the teams that kind of got caught up in that, and they were given some options on what they could do. But
Jesus,
we were lucky to avoid
what an adventure. God. All right. So because I've seen you briefly, like while we've been out like at events and runs and things, I've heard that because it's international, there's a lot less rules. And the route was through massive ass desert. There's definitely some obstacles that you probably wouldn't have experienced if you were like doing the LA to the Vegas speed project. So like there were dogs, there's truck drivers driving really like close, like a lot of safety was kind of flirted with a little bit. So while you're racing, and like I know like people who race, and like if there's lots of disturbances and it takes them out of their headspace, how the hell did you stay focused? Like you've got like dogs barking at, like you've got all the shit in the world happening. How are you focused?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, like the segments we were doing weren't that long. I mean, we were doing like a few kilometers at a time. Then when it got really steep, we were dropping down to like 800-meter repeats, 400-meter repeats, just like really turning people over and going as fast as we could. So it was easy to stay focused in like those small segments of time. But I mean, I was always very aware of where the trucks were just because they were so close to us. I had one point, we're actually coming up to the border crossing. I'm going down this like huge hill, and there is one of those guardrails, and I'm having to decide like, do I stay on the like inside of the guardrail closer to the trucks, or do I try to run to the outside of the guardrail, which might give me like more space from the trucks, but it's dark and I can't see what's on the other side of that guardrail. I made the decision to stay on the inside closer to the trucks. I didn't get hit by a truck, but the truck was so close to me that it blew me into the guardrail. And that was probably the scariest thing that I had happen. But I went and I like looked, and on the other side of the guardrail, it was just a cliff. So I was like, good thing I didn't try to run on that side, because Hope would have fallen off. Like
Oh
the
my
team
God.
would have been, yeah, man down for sure. So, I mean, that was scary. There was one point where I always made sure when I did an exchange, after I handed off, I turned in or like out towards the shoulder, never like turned in. The one time on the second day, I like wasn't thinking and I turned in, I came like 6 inches from getting smashed by a truck. So,
Jesus.
you just had to, I don't know how I stayed so present in the moment with like the lack of sleep. I think I
Yeah.
was just excited to be there, and there's nothing that I love more than running and being around people that I enjoy. And it gave me flashbacks to being in college and playing soccer and having preseason, where my life was just like sleep, eat, play soccer, repeat that like 3
Yeah.
different times a day. And it was like, that was the life. Like, I loved that. And other people were like, those 3 weeks of preseason were complete hell. I don't know what's wrong. So when we finished our race, we got to the top, and I was like, I was relieved it was over, but also so sad it was over.
Aww.
And I was just kind of like turned around and was like, can we just like run it right back? Like, do it in reverse. Everyone's like, shut the fuck up.
That's going to be a no from the group.
They're like, don't give anyone any ideas here. Nils might like sign you up for something like that. So.
Oh my God. Did you meet your teammates prior to arriving to Chile, or was it like, how did you find 6 people that are willing to like travel and do this? How did this work?
So luckily, I knew some of them. So how this had started, Nils knew that he wanted to have people who had done the speed project before involved in it. So luckily, he had reached out to Gordon Clark, who, you know, you've had on the podcast.
Yeah.
Both know in the running community, super rad. He reached out to me. This is its own funny story. It's like my first workout back from my last marathon. My friend and I decided we wanted to take some like, they're fitness edibles. Like, they're supposed to be like edibles for like going to work out. So we're like, let's see how they are. I'm on a workout. I'm just like cooking, having a good time. And Gordon runs up to me and he's like, so what do you think about running in Chile, 300 miles across the desert for the speed project? I just looked at him, probably like a little bleary eyed, and was like, I'm in. So Gordon was our captain, and so he was reaching out to people and getting a team in place. And so I knew him and one other individual, you know, pretty well. But other than that, I hadn't met any of our teammates or our crew. So showing up and just being like, all right, like, hopefully this works out. I feel lucky that everyone really got along for the most part. I mean, things get tense over that period of time when no one's sleeping and you're running and you're crammed in little pickup trucks with each other, because this one doesn't have RVs like the LA to Vegas.
Shit.
So yeah, you're in like a little pickup truck, a little mining truck the whole time with your buddies. So you get pretty close to each other in that period of time. But yeah, Gordon was the mastermind behind all of it. And we just had some just amazing, not just runners, but like individuals to be around who were just like so inspiring and uplifting, and made it easy for me to kind of accomplish the only 2 goals that I had set for myself were, don't be a liability in terms of pace, like hang with the guys. And then number 2 is like, don't be a liability in terms of vibes. So I was always like up, happy, smiling, dancing, ready to go, like trying to pump people up. So I had one moment of weakness that lasted about 10 seconds. And then I was like, all right, like, but there's no time for this. Like, we just got to have fun. So
Yeah. damn, I'm trying to think like 48 hours, like I'm just thinking of the situation. 48 hours, no sleep, running through insane difference from climates, people you don't know. How is like from a mental standpoint, how are you, I mean, other than just being, not wanting to be like a liability of like vibes and running, that's kind of a daring thing to do. Were you nervous a little bit at all? No?
I wasn't nervous about like if I could do the running because the training that I had done leading up to it, I was setting myself up for being able to do it and do it rather comfortably.
Mm-hmm.
It sounds crazy, but I was to the point where I was asking friends to like call me in the middle of the night and tell me that I just had to run because it's like
Oh,
that's what my this race is like. So it'd be I'd have friends just like randomly hit me up, be like, go run 2 miles. And it's like, okay, go run 2 miles. It'd be like, 2 a.m. I'd come back in, go back to sleep. Did a lot of trail and elevation running. Unfortunately, can't replicate that type of altitude here in LA. It's just
no.
not possible, and I couldn't commit to doing like a big bear or a mammoth like altitude training. And even then, it wouldn't have really done any good. We started at sea level, so we spent the 3 days prior to the race at sea level in a beach town called Iquique. So I'm like, I would have had to adjust to altitude either way. And
Yeah,
I'm pretty decent with altitude. I handle it fairly well. So I
that's
was like,
good.
yeah.
That's good. Wow. I find that so admirable, dude. Because like I just think of like the running aside, I think as an athlete you can like, well, regardless, I'm going to show up, and my lack of effort, my lack of training will not be a reason why this doesn't go well. But just from
Mhm.
like the social side, I'm just like, hey, strangers, and obviously Gordon's there, so he's not gonna let anything
Yeah.
happen. But like that's pretty
Mhm.
impressive. Just
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I can get along with most people. I mean, if they get along with me, like I don't know, like I haven't had any bad reviews come in yet, so I think I'm pretty easy to get along with and a relatively good teammate. But I mean, just try to, stay positive. And I knew that the running was going to be the easiest part because just like logistics when you're in a foreign country, especially one like that it's not developed to the extent that you're accustomed to in
yeah,
the US. So I knew that things were going to be out of my control, and luckily I've spent enough time abroad in different countries of varying degrees of development that I just kind of know, you
yeah.
just got to roll with the punches with some of those things.
I got you. So from you landed 3 days before the race, meeting some of your teammates for
Mm.
the first time. Did you guys just like put together a strategy, just
Oh,
super
it was a
duper quick?
cluster. I mean,
Okay.
Gordon lost his bags. One of my flight, they like messed up my flight from Santiago to Iquique. I had to find a hotel in Santiago to stay at by myself overnight. I'm at the airport, like we're about to board our flights, and I'm like, mine's not on there. And I look, and they booked me on a 7 a.m. instead of a 7 p.m. And I was like, what? So I had to like figure all of that out. And then,
Yeah.
yeah, I get there. Gordon's bag with all of his running stuff is missing. We don't get it until like literally the night before the race starts. So up until that point, like we didn't know if Gordon was running. Gordon didn't know if Gordon was running. So it was like so much drama. And then you're trying to plan, but it's like, we're trying to plan, but we don't know if Gordon's going to be able to run. Will we have one of thankfully, our crew, both of our drivers that we had, incredible runners. When they weren't driving, they would like come and like run with us on some of the segments. Our photographer, Tyler McCain, is just like wild. He would get out there, be running with us while he was shooting. He shoots all of Sally McRae, so who
Yes.
Tyler.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do.
You know who Sally is, so you know who Tyler is. So he crushed it. They all were just like such a vibe, but it was kind of like, hey guys, we might be tapping you to run a lot of miles if Gordon can't do this. This is not what you signed up for, but so luckily, that didn't happen. Gordon was able to run, got his stuff, yeah, just in the nick of time. And in terms of planning, we had We had Darcy Butworth on our team who has done LA to Vegas like 8 times, or she's either like run it or crewed it like 8 times. So she is like like planning extraordinaire. So she had talked to some of the solo runners who had already done the race. She had like mapped out a bunch of stuff and had like good suggestions on how we should approach it. We definitely followed it to a certain extent, like generally, but then you just have to be adaptable on the fly. And so we had a loose plan, you know. It went fine. I think, 38, 39 hours, whatever we did it in. It's like, I'll take that.
Yeah, dude. I know, because you guys got 4th place. And I just think, because there was 16, 15 teams.
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah. That's incredible. And you haven't trained together.
They all knew each other. We literally were like the most ragtag team. Like people were showing up like matching kits. I'm like, what's up guys? I'm running this whole thing in Clifton 9s. And everyone's like, what? And I'm like, if my feet hurt, I'm gonna be in like, that's the one thing that will cripple me is if my feet start to hurt. So I'm like, I'm gonna be comfy. Like I'm not trying to set world record out here. And honestly, I might have put in some of the fastest paces a Hoka Clifton's ever seen. So
Atta girl. What were people running in if they weren't running in just like stiff trail shoes?
I mean, there was a variety. Yeah, I think people were wearing like a little bit more like up tempo. I mean, the Hoka Clifton is like max cushion as it gets. It's about as like soft and plushy as you can do. So everyone's like, this girl's not gonna rip it, and then there I go.
There you go.
Yeah,
that's crazy. I would think feet would be, especially with all the terrain, like you want your feet comfy.
Yeah, I mean, people were like swapping shoes in and out. There's like a lot of, I'd say, at least for my team, we ran the majority of it on asphalt.
Oh, really?
We were on the shoulder of the road running.
Okay. Because I creeped and like looked through like pictures. Of course, I stalked Tyler because he's an amazing photographer, and
oh yeah,
the fact that he was there was really cool because he's photographer side with Gray. If you're listening, Sally, by some miracle,
he's running LA to Vegas on our team.
I had a kid. Holy shit! How cool!
Oh, he rips. If you're keeping up with her, like you can definitely keep up with my slow ass. Like
you're not slow.
He rips for sure. So
damn,
yeah, we're stoked.
Dude, you're gonna have such good photos from that. I mean, the memories for sure, but the photos will be solid.
We're also making him run, so he's pulling double duty. So he wants to run
while running.
Yeah,
that's crazy cool.
Probably still better than like half the people out there. So
Well, because I've seen some of the photos he's taken of Sally. Like he's up there, and that's you like you said. If you're catching Sally running, you're gonna have to get up with her. So yeah.
Oh yeah. I'm like, you can be on my team anytime. Let's go.
Let's go, man. Okay, so through and through, obviously an adventure. Looking back now, favorite memories. Did you guys have a celebration? Did you have a kickoff drink? You're giggling, so there must have been some sort of celebration.
We purchased some beers just for like, we know like times are going to get tough at some point out on the road. So like, let's just like all pull over to the side at some point, like share a beer together and just like soak it in, So we stopped to do stuff like that. We were sharing beers with like some of the other teams that we would come across. One thing I have to say is just like the other teams, so cool, so supportive. Like you're honestly so stoked when you see another team because you're like, I haven't seen anyone in so long. And everyone is like so excited to see each other, so happy and supportive. Like we're all cheering each other on. There was a team that we were like battling back and forth with. Every time that they would see me, they're like, not her again. Like just giving me a hard time. But it was, that was incredible. Favorite moment, so you finish, you have this like huge climb, you meet at this like big white cross that's like in the middle of the desert. The other teams that have finished are there. The like crew is there from the speed project, and you're just like celebrating with your team. And the content team for the speed project, they were on a live stream and they came up to me and they're like, your mom's on, your mom says hi. And I just started crying because
Oh,
my mom is like in Iowa watching me run across the Chilean desert. Like, I don't think anyone would have ever pictured this for me, like, in my life. So it was like, that was really cool. But also, I can objectively say that I gave it my all every single time I ran. And so to push yourself that much and to also just like hold yourself together like emotionally that whole time, when I was finally done, I just kind of had this like release. And I will say, of the things that I've like done in my life, undergrad, law school, playing college soccer, like 12 marathons or whatever it is that I'm at now,
yeah.
like I don't think I've ever felt proud of myself in the way that I felt like finishing that. And to share it with the people who I did, who you go from not knowing most of them to like, those guys feel like family to me now, where it's like, I literally just texted one of them today and I was like, hey, I have a friend who's going to be in Santiago. Can he run with you while he's there? And he's like, I'm here and ready to receive guests at any time, especially a friend of Hope. And I'm like, that's what this is about. Like, it's
Yeah.
honestly all of the experience itself was great. It went by so fast. And that would be the one thing that I would tell myself is like, I'm glad I didn't sleep because I got to witness every second of that race that I was a part of. But even, the 39 hours that it took us felt like a blink of an eye to me. And I know other people are like who have done it are probably just like, you're insane for thinking that, but it went by so fast. And I was every time I see photos of that, like, I have so much nostalgia and already miss it a lot. So
Yeah. Oh, that was so heartfelt. That's so cool. Your mom got to like live stream from Iowa. That is
yeah,
fucking awesome.
yeah, it was. And then the other advice I'd give myself is every time I was like on the live stream, I was just so excited, and it was just profanities left and right. I mean,
Is
you
there a
would
recording of this?
you would not, oh yeah, I think so. I think they're all still up there because I'm just like, they're just like, what advice would you give people who like are gonna run this next? And I go, get fucking ready. And I'm like, I mean, I even said like in the post race interview when they're talking to me, I'm like, I swear, like, I'm a professional. Like, if any of my colleagues are watching this, like, I don't swear like this in the courtroom or anything, but oh well.
Oh my God. I just think it's amazing, ironic, amazing, and like pure fucking magic that, professionally it's just, not like you're serious all the time, but you're a lawyer, But then
No,
like you
I'm pretty
flip the
serious.
script.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, anyone who knows me, and that's the thing that's so funny. And I mean, and like the run clubs that we go to and stuff, and people talk, and people are curious and everything. The number of times I hear people tell me that I'm so much nicer than they thought I would be, and just like, oh, you're not scary. I'm like, what about me seems scary? I'm just like, I guess I just look really intense, I don't
Yeah.
know. But
The lady
I
of the
was,
law.
yeah. I'm like, is it the lawyer thing? Is it I think it's the Strava thing that people like just go
Yeah.
on, make assumptions based on what they see. But no, I'm pretty goofy. I'm pretty just like, if I'm not at work, kind of whatever I'm saying is, or whatever I'm thinking is what I end up saying. So the filter
Yeah, I
gets.
got you. Do you think, and this is kind of a backwards question because we're already talking about running, but do you think after soccer, how did that transition go for you? Because I know a lot of soccer folks transition to running, but I feel like the story is different for each person.
Yeah, so running for me was always a necessary evil, I guess.
Got you.
I liked the sprinting, like explosive side of it. I liked all of the weight training and stuff like that. When it got to running over a mile, I was just like, I'll do it. Like, but I'm gonna do like, what's the bare minimum qualification for me to like retain my spot on the team? Okay, like that's what I'll hit.
Got you.
Everything else, I'm like, oh, you got to overachieve. I want to be like the top person. And then running, it's, I was one trying to figure out like who I was, not being a soccer player anymore. Especially, it was like I played soccer from the time I was 3 till the time I was 22.
Holy shit.
So you think about like, and that's how I defined myself for a long time, was like,
Yeah.
I'm a soccer player, and that was a huge part of my identity. And then when that was over, I was just kind of searching in a lot of different ways. I knew I was going to go to law school. I had this incredible experience in Tanzania before I went to law school, and ended up working with kids in orphanages, teaching them math and English. And I ended up starting like a girls' soccer program out there because the boys wouldn't let me play soccer with them. I was like,
It's like
yeah,
she's the man type thing.
yeah. But so I was just like, okay, well, we're gonna teach these girls. And it was less about like the act of playing soccer, but the fact that sport has given me so much in terms of like confidence and empowerment in my life, that that's something that I believed was really important in trying to instill into those girls, at least like a little bit while I was there. And also let them be like the center of attention and be the ones who are, like, hey, I'm bringing in all of this new gear and it's like just for the girls, and
Mm-hmm.
they're getting like special one-on-one time. So but after that experience, as great as it was in a lot of ways, it was also like very difficult for me to leave, and I was very, very depressed. I went
Oh,
from living in Tanzania. So you go from sub-Saharan Africa to Orange County, California for law school, and no one understands how you're feeling. And how could they? Not.
right.
I'm not knocking anybody. It's an experience that it's hard to articulate to somebody who wasn't there. So I was working through a lot of feelings, and I realized that running really gave me this space to get in touch with myself and how I was feeling, and work through a lot of those feelings that I was having. And it transcended anything that was purely physical for me.
Mm.
And so that's why I get a lot of shit from people online when they're like, you run every day, like that's so bad for you. Don't you take rest days and stuff like that? You got people who
Yeah.
are and it's fine. And I'm not saying like what I do is for everyone by any means, but a lot of it is it's less about like the physical aspect and more about like what it does for my mental health and my mental clarity going into work every day and things like that. Running has now been a part of my life that, I'm sure if something happened where I couldn't run, I would adjust and figure something else out that I'm just as passionate about. But it
Mm-hmm.
has led so many great people and experiences into my life that I'm like, I can't picture not having it.
Yeah. I got you. And I always ask because if people have sports backgrounds and they're running, there's usually, because similar, like running for me was a punishment. It was
Mm-hmm.
never like oh, you get to run. It was like, no, you fucked up, get on the line. So
Yeah.
like that,
Yeah.
getting out of that mental psyche, that, and then just kind of the journey of how like, okay, I'm running because for me it was COVID. That was what got me out the door because all the gyms were closed.
Mm-hmm.
But then once you realize like, holy shit, like I can think, it's like, it's so soothing and meditative and oh
Mm-hmm.
man.
Well, and sometimes for a lot of us, that's the only time that you really have alone with yourself to like do this check in without all of this additional like stimuli going on, whether it's, your inability to like not check social media, if you're just sitting there, or if it's, work related things, or family, you're a caregiver, people need you. Like sometimes it's like really the only time that you can get to yourself is the time that you are carving out while you're on the move.
Yeah.
So it's become a very like sacred part of my day, having that like check in with myself and reevaluating, kind of how I'm feeling. And I'm very grateful for, the running journey that I've had, but make no mistake, I was not always this like crazy, runner. I mean, it was like if I was running after a ball, absolutely. Like there's some purpose there. I used to think that people who ran even half marathons were crazy. I was like,
Yeah,
if I'm not
same.
a soccer ball, what am I doing?
No, it's the same, yeah.
And
Yeah.
now I'm like, how far can I run? Let's see how long we can take this.
Yeah. I think that's the beauty of like the mental part of running is it becomes less about like, especially, you know, like in trails and things like that. No one gives a shit about the time. No one gives a flying fuck what your time is when you're out there. It's just you and it's quiet and it's
Mm.
just so like it's peaceful. It's a total different experience.
And it's so nice to just see people like out there doing it. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I don't care what pace you're running. Like, I am so stoked to see you. I say good morning and hi to absolutely everybody. And people are probably like, what is wrong with this girl? Especially, it'll be like, you know, I go on some early runs and people are like, what are you crazy saying hi to this person? And I'm like,
Well,
I
it's
think
the
you're gonna,
morning.
yeah, I'm like, I don't know. I might be the only person like that day who like acknowledges them, you
Yeah.
know? Like that's very like to me that's very important. That's like one of my main kind of like pillars or like values of my life is like making sure that the people who I come into contact with feel like they have the ability to like feel seen and acknowledged in like a very true and real way. And sometimes like that ends up happening on these runs where people just like they don't understand how therapeutic it is until they go, and then they'll be like, I'm sorry, I just told you my entire life story. I'm like,
Mm-hmm.
lay it on me, like
Yep.
it's
Yep.
nothing I haven't heard or been through, you
Oh
know.
yeah.
And I love that it gives you that ability, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It is not as solo of a sport as I think people make it out to be, and it certainly doesn't have to be at all, and it should be very inclusive.
Yeah. Yeah, the conversations you have during a long run are just like the bonding moments you'll remember for the rest of your life.
There's things as runners, no matter what pace you're going, we've all
Oh
experienced, and
yeah.
like some of them are hella traumatic. So like, so there's
Oh yeah.
bonding that happens there.
Oh yeah. I don't know if it's everyone, but like a lot of runners are running for a reason. I always say this, and it's not to put a stereotype, but we're trying to solve we're doing something out there. We're moving our legs, but we're like turning our minds, you know?
I
Yeah.
mean, it's either something. I mean, it started off I was kind of running away from things, you
Mm,
know. I
yeah.
felt like using running as an escape from the things that I was feeling that I wasn't able to articulate to other people, and now it's like everything's come full circle and I'm very much running to this new, not even new, but just like different opportunities that I never saw for myself, but like running has given me. So
Yeah.
it's a really cool like full circle moment to have.
Yeah. I love that for you. So full circle moment, 2024. What do we
Yeah.
got going on?
We got a lot going on in 2024. I'm starting to think like, did I overextend myself a little bit? And I'm normally one who's like, let's just go.
Okay.
I'm a hammer and everything's a nail. So first we have LA Marathon. I'm very honored to be pacing one of my very good friends in that race. So if you are planning on being at the marathon, definitely say hi and cheer very loudly for not just me and my friend, but everybody, all the runners.
Just us.
It's a tough course these days, but we won't get into that.
No.
Um,
No.
then 4 or 5 days later, I have LA to Vegas, running it back with some of the people from the previous crew. I mentioned Tyler, and then Michael Osnick is also running with us again as well. So that will be exciting, and some new faces on the team. So that will be a quick turnaround, but it's all good. And
You
then
got it.
3 weeks later, I'm racing Boston.
Atta girl.
Yeah. I'm training for a PR, but we'll see with kind of everything that's going on and the weather. You just never know. But I wanna try to send it. So we'll see what we can do out there. And then I kind of have like a big gap in my summer. No races
That's
planned
nice.
until I'm going to Berlin.
Atta girl.
Because this is a big year. I'm getting a lot out of the way. And I am a month after Berlin racing my first 100K.
Atta girl. Which one are you gonna do? Are you allowed to tell which one you're gonna do?
Oh yeah, I'll be at Javelina.
Javelina, okay.
Javelina 100. So the weekend of Halloween. So that's gonna be really exciting. TBD sounds like Tyler's gonna be pacing me, so we might get some cool content out of that. So
Nice.
I think I've roped him into doing that. He says he wants to experience it. I got to go last year with Gordon as a pacer, and so that was really cool. It's an awesome race. Great first trail experience. So, and then we're running New York Marathon for fun.
Jesus Christ. I love this for you.
My frequent flyer miles are about to be through the roof this year.
It's about to be an adventure.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. So, I mean, the thing about it is, it's like there's really only like 2 races that I'm like really like looking to race. It is a lot of volume in terms of mileage and things like that, but not looking to go full send. But you heard it here first. Javelina is a full send. I am like, I'm not just like debuting. Like I'm gonna try to make a statement at that race.
Atta girl.
Yeah, I'm putting it out there. Like,
I love that.
I'm not saying I'm coming for anyone in particular, but I'm just coming. You know, I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be firing on all cylinders. So we'll see what we can do.
Oh my God. I love that. Okay, hold on. Let me make sure I got all this. So we've got LA pacing.
Yeah.
Speed Project a couple days after.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Boston. Then we have a nice summer. Recoup.
Yeah.
Rest.
Yeah.
Get that down in. Then we got Berlin.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Javelina.
Yep.
Then we got New York.
Yep.
Atta girl. Dude, so 6.
6 races this year, yeah.
That's going to be awesome. I mean, it's going to be hard, but I feel like you're not one to shy away from that sort of shit. Like, you're one to embrace it.
No. And honestly, I'm kind of leaning towards, this is my last year of, like, big-time road running. I love the trails. I mean, it's fun. It makes me just feel a lot more, my knees feel better running out there. I cannot lie to you on that. It's hard to avoid concrete in LA, unfortunately. Yeah. But it's just beautiful, and I love me some hills, and I love me some elevation, and that's where I really kind of am able to separate myself as a runner. So it's like trail circuit is kind of calling my name. So
yeah, dude, that's gonna be so awesome. So Javelina 100.
Mm-hmm.
Where is that? I should know this, but I don't.
It's in Arizona. I think like just outside like Scottsdale area.
Okay.
Yeah.
I've heard it's beautiful.
Oh, it was gorgeous. I mean, and everyone there is like having so much fun. It's such a vibe. Like, I've never seen more incredible like snacks and aid stations in my life. I was like, I get this. I get why people do this for sure. I probably ate an entire like watermelon on my one loop out there. Every aid station I went at, I was like, just give me the fresh cut watermelon. Like,
yeah. Oh my
hydrating
God.
And eating at the same time. Yeah,
plus it tastes good.
Yeah. Like, I wasn't getting much calorie content, but it was just one loop. So we'll do better. We'll do better in the actual race. We'll have the nutrition dialed in and everything like that. But we're good. You and I are going to have to get out for a trail run because you got 50K.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I have my... When is it? March. It's the weekend after LA.
You didn't want to hop in for a nice, no, but I don't blame you.
No, but I picked Valencia. It looked beautiful. The course is a little bit different. It's kind of like, because there's, different lengths, and then you go the entire outside length and then back in. Like, it's very intricate, which that was going to be kind of fun. But my fiance, he's running LA, and I wanted to run with him, and so like, let's keep our training plans a little bit close together.
Yeah.
So 1 week after, but it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's been interesting having everybody like doing like kicking off their LA training, and I'm like, I'm technically running LA, but I haven't started like marathon. I start on Monday my own. Like, I'm only doing a 12-week build for Boston, so
okay.
I got plenty of base
After
after
that.
tea and everything. Yeah, so we're doing okay. But yeah, I mean, it's gonna be wild. I've been to a few different run clubs here in LA for their like marathon training just to kind of see, what everyone's got going on, and LA's showing out, man. Is all the run clubs have a lot of people running. A lot
Mm-hmm.
of people running. So
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
like this might be the most attractive marathon that's ever been held because I'm like everyone is like young
Mm.
and attractive and a lot of them are doing it for the first time, so I'm like buckle up baby. This is not an easy course for your first one.
See, I wish I had one person who told me that, like, you might want to be wary of the course. Anytime I hear someone running it, like someone running LA, not in an off-putting way, but I'm just like, please, for the love of God, train on some hills. Like that's like, it's
Especially if
beautiful.
you live on the west side like we do, it's just like it's flat as a
It's,
pancake
it
out
is
here.
flat as hell.
Yeah.
It's flat as hell.
I'll go
No.
on like a 12-mile run and get 64 feet of elevation, and I'm like, what the hell? Like, that's just the hill to get to like my house. That's literally all it is.
The Venice canals.
The point one of a mile that it takes getting like from the beach to my house is like the only elevation that I get in some of these runs, and I'm just like,
Oh,
it's an experience. I mean, I think that you can only prepare so much
yeah.
and you just have to do it. People spend way too much time waiting for the perfect moment to do things, and it's like, do it before you're ready within reason. I mean, one thing I will say, I ran for close to 2 years before I ran my first marathon.
See, I mean, timeline.
It's like everyone's on their own, but I do think that post COVID, there's been this big pressure of like you're not a runner unless you do races. Number one, which I think is bullshit. Like you don't have to race at all if you don't want to, and
Yeah.
two, there's no specific like race distance that like for any new runners out there. Spoiler alert: no one comes up to you with a fucking pin that says like now you're a runner because you completed this. Like if if you get out there one day and do it, like congratulations. Like here's your imaginary pin from me. Let me anoint you because like you don't have to do this bullshit like if you don't
Yeah.
want to. And I see a lot of people who they're the ones who it's the training is hard even if you like it. But
Mm-hmm.
if you genuinely do not like running and you're like, I'm going to do a marathon, I'm not telling you not to do it because I think doing hard things and doing things we don't like to do, like that's great practice. Just be aware.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
It's good.
probably not going to be something that's like sustainable for you like throughout your life if you like really hate it. But like
Yeah.
if it's a bucket list item, like go for it. I love that the
Yeah.
running community is growing and that we're seeing so many, different people getting out there and doing different things and doing crazy things that I never thought I would ever see. I never thought I'd go to Chile and run across the desert.
My
So
girl. Yeah. I mean, I think there's pros and cons. I only been running maybe a year before I ran my first. I like fucked up my shoulder real bad and then had surgery on it and then got into running because it was in COVID. And like immediately, I think when I first came to VRC, it was like, oh, have you run a marathon? And I was like, no, I haven't. I've this 6 mile like run I'm about to go on Saturday is the longest one I've ever done. But even since running like Lamb and then doing Long Beach later this year, it never felt right, if you know what I mean. Like it never felt like I like running. I don't necessarily know if I'm like in love with the 26.2, the paved roads, the fixation on my time. Like it wasn't quite me. And so like that's why like I've, I've edited a little bit. Like I'm going to more trail, more, no headphones, or if I do have headphones, no music, just being present. Like it's completely shifted, like finding what works for you. If it's, yeah.
and like you are able to change that whenever you want.
Yeah.
Like there's no rule that says like you have to do this, you have to do that. I think we get stuck in this idea of like whatever is popular or whatever is like happening around us, it's like, oh, that's the way that like I have to go. And it's like, I've always been the person who's just like off doing my own thing, could give like two shits what everyone is telling me is like conventional and the right path. It's like, but that comes from like spending that time alone and knowing yourself
Yeah.
and being like, I can only do things that are out of alignment with me for so long before I just like crack and I'm like, can't do it. Like I got to go back to like what feels right for me. But you're not pigeonholed into, anything. And I think that sometimes we really limit ourselves by thinking in that regard and approaching it in that regard.
Yeah.
I love that for you. Like, I mean, I love the trails personally more than anything. So hearing someone else, feel the same way just, makes my heart happy. But just when I hear that people are doing what resonates with them, it's the most important part.
Yeah. Have you read the book Born to Run?
Hell yeah, I've read Born to Run.
Fuck, that's such a good book.
Wow.
I finished that and I was like, that is the most. I've never had someone put the nail on the head or hit the nail on the head so eloquently, like it was just. I recommend it to everybody. Like, you need to read that book, even if you're a runner or not. Like, read that damn book.
Mm-hmm. It's so cool. I mean,
So
and it really just, yeah, like you said, it just drives the point home of like what running originally like really is about.
Yeah.
And what that journey is. There's so many good running books that I could recommend, and there's some that are totally on the other side where it's like there's one called Once a Runner where like he is working like to this like very difficult like dream of like achieving a certain time and like literally kind of like lives like a monk and says like F it to everything else to like chase this dream of and it's wild. I mean, but I love that stuff. I can consume running and any type of, I think, sport content like constantly.
Golly. Oh shit. Okay, so we've officially hit the part of the interview called rapid fire questions.
Okay.
So, what would you say, and I find this so fascinating, what is like your driving force, aspiration, inspiration, like what gets you out of bed at 4 a.m. to get on those runs?
Just that I know that I'm a better version of myself after I do it.
Ooh. Ooh.
I show up better for the people in my life. I show up better at work. I am more in touch with myself, which allows me to be, more compassionate and caring and empathetic to the people who, I interact with throughout the day. It's really just grounding for me.
Damn. Well said. Holy shit. All right. What is one thing you want listeners to know about you?
I make the bombest protein vegan ice cream you've ever had in your life. Probably because it's the only one that exists, but
it's so fucking good. It's
it
so
is.
good. I brought home those. It was gone. I've never seen ice cream gone because it's what. So break it down for folks who are listening, because I'll put the plug, like the website plug, in this.
And I gotta hook you up with. I have a cookies and cream flavor that I just made.
Oh fuck yeah!
Deadly. So it is a coconut milk and hemp milk based ice cream that has 20 to 25 grams of plant protein in it per pint. No refined sugars, no like added flavors, no gums, gunk, anything like that. It's just kind of all natural. It's not low calorie. It's definitely satiating. That's the entire point of it, but it's called Only the Good Stuff because I'm trying to keep it, as natural as possible and as unprocessed as possible. And that was born out of running because I would come home from long runs. I have a very hard time eating after I run. I can ice cream. And so I was like, how can I make this a little bit more so I'm not just eating like a bunch of sugar? So I
Yeah,
just experimenting with putting protein in it, and here we are. This is my lovely
I know.
ice cream maker right there, making an appearance, just always looming in the background. So
All right, go to breakfast.
okay, this is gonna sound really weird. I
Okay.
eat like this massive salad for breakfast most days.
All
So
right.
it has like rice noodles and stuff in it too, but it's full of like avocado, but like butter lettuce, tomatoes, and I make my own like dressing for it. It's like this spicy like Asian dressing, and I don't know why, but like I'm addicted to that. I will inhale it. And everyone's
Oh
like, a
shit.
breakfast salad, and I'm like, dude, you can. I just it feels great, but I mean, I am adding in some carbs with that. Everyone, don't worry. There's definitely like an English muffin and you know, some a protein shake on the side with that. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I just love vegetables. I was vegetarian, full vegetarian for 5 years, and
Yeah.
veggies are my fave.
Veggies are bomb. If you know how to cook them right, I think that's the thing. People don't cook or spice them. So yeah,
Oh,
nothing really
yeah.
tastes
Well,
good if you
like,
don't.
yeah, if you're eating just a steamed head of broccoli, it's not the best thing in the world. But
No.
if you're roasting that thing, getting it a little charred, yeah, that's.
Yep. So if you eat that, do you eat that before you run or after?
I typically don't eat before I run unless I'm doing a
Okay.
long run.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm kind of just, well, one, it's so early. So
That's
it's the
true.
idea of like waking up even earlier to eat. I'm just like,
Ugh.
like, can't be bothered. And usually, you know, I'm good fasted for like 2.5 hours of activity. Not saying that that's like what I can perform top level at, but I can
Yeah.
get through workouts like that. So
Okay. Got you. I'm like trying to eat the gels I'm gonna eat on my race before, and it's
hmm
like because you have to like gut train.
yeah.
Oof,
Oh
sweet
yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I, I have to like baby my Mortons. I can't just like gut them all at once, and
Well,
so
oof.
then my hands all sticky because I'm holding it for miles on end. It's a mess. I need to just get over it, but you
Dude,
know,
I'm right there with you. I can't do the
we're,
full gulp. I gotta baby
yeah,
it.
we're all a work in progress, you
Yeah,
know?
man. Yeah. All right. Hidden talents or quirks?
Ooh, I don't know if I have anything. I mean, the thing is, like, nothing's hidden with me.
That's true. What's a talent or a quirk?
I share everything. Talent or quirk? I mean, I don't know. I think I'm just a quirk. Like, I'm weird.
Okay.
I don't know.
I
Like,
like
that's
it.
hard to say. Yeah.
I mean, to be honest, in the last couple questions, you make your own vegan ice cream.
Yeah, that's a talent.
That's a
Yeah.
talent. You eat salad for breakfast. That's a quirk.
That's actually a quirk. Yeah. That's just mixing in your, yeah. I'm
I
trying
like
to be
it.
very concise.
Oh God. Okay, last question. What are 3 things that you're grateful for?
Ooh. Okay. Sunrise runs, number one. And we've been on a very cloudy spell here in LA in the mornings. I
Yeah.
know everyone who is not in LA feels so bad for us. But those really I mean, anyone who follows me on either social media or Strava knows that I post a fucking picture of a sunset every goddamn morning. So, and I'm always like on the run taking it. Like I've gotten pretty good at it.
Mm-hmm.
So the just I haven't gotten that in a few days, and I think it's going to be a few more days. But I'm also very grateful for. I mean, I have a friend who I'm running 22 miles with tomorrow, and not only that, she also like wants to go to Olive Garden tonight to carb load. So I'm like, does it get any better than that? Like that is my epitome of a favorite person right there. So very grateful for a friend like that. And I am very grateful for the people in my life who, whether they know it or not, are a big reason why I run and live the way that I do.
Oh, those were so good.
Oh, hey.
So heartfelt. Damn, well, that's the end of the episode. That's it.
That's it.